friends! Welcome back to Emily Finally Reads all of her books. You may be able to tell we've added a few more to the collection. Anything else new happening? Let me see. No, I can't think of anything else new that may have happened recently. Anyway, let's talk about this book. And, whoo boy, what a book. If you do decide to read this, hugest of content warnings for rape, for miscarriage, guns, hanging. It's a dystopia, so stuff is going to go down. In a future world, birth rates have completely plummeted, and the United States has been taken over by a new theocracy named Gilead, where religion is enforced with death, and if you refuse, you are killed or sent to the toxic wastelands known as the colonies. To help combat these abysmally low birth rates, high-ranking married couples are given a handmaid, circa the biblical Rachel and Leah. Then, every month, during the handmaid's ovulation period, there is a heavily symbolic sexual act between the husband, wife, and the handmaid, in which procreation is attempted between the husband and the handmaid. And that's probably the best way to put it without getting into too much detail or being too vulgar. This book is told from the perspective of our titular handmaid. We never learn her real name. She's only referred to as EFRAHB, of Fred, her commander, her husband, her high-ranking patriarchal household individual. Throughout the telling, we jump between her present-day recollections and her memories from the before time, and occasionally jumping to her re-education time in this place called the Red Center. Our handmaid tells us of the experiences that she has in the household in which she is assigned. She talks about her working with the underground resistance, as well as the secret escapades she goes on with her commander, mostly just talking with one another in his office, all of which she sees as a sort of power trip for him. Then the story proper just ends suddenly, with EFRAHB being taken away either by the secret police or by the resistance. We don't really know. We then jump forward to the year 2195 to the transcript of a seminar studying Gilead and its fallout, as well as the story that we had just read. It turns out that the story we had just read was actually transcripts from a recording of The Handmaid on little cassette tapes that she had made at some unknown date. The speaker at this seminar discusses how The Handmaid was even able to tell her story, how she was able to escape from the family, and where she even went, and by doing so casts doubt entirely on the story that we had just read, if it even happened. But now, opinions. This book is rough. It's rough in its storytelling, it's rough in its content, it's rough in its characters, the scenarios, the outcomes, and I've seen the show, so with that, it's even worse. Either way, I'm sure it would be really nice for a young and spunky teenage girl who's unconventionally pretty to swoop in and fix everything. That would at least make it a little easier, you know? But let's talk about form rather than content. An interesting thing about this book is that it sometimes feels a little rambly. For example, night falls, or has fallen. Why is it that night falls instead of rising, like the dawn? Yet if you look east at sunset, you see night rising, not falling, darkness lifting into the sky up from the horizon, like a black sun behind cloud cover, like smoke from an unseen fire, a line of fire just below the horizon, brush fire, or a burning city. Maybe night falls because it's heavy, a thick curtain pulled up over the eyes, wool blanket. I wish I could see in the dark, better than I do. We find out in the epilogue that this story was told in a rambling style by the narrator speaking onto a recorder. The tapes were found unnumbered, and so they just kind of spliced them together in an order they feel makes sense. Definitely an interesting way of telling the story, but not everyone who picks up the book is going to get through over 300 pages just to get that explanation of it. But at the same time, to start the book off with the transcription from that seminar, it would give a different expectation of the book to come. Rather than this fictional dystopia, you would think that you're reading someone's actual journal entries. It would create a much more realness to it, I suppose. Would that be better or worse? I don't know. Hi friends, I forgot a couple things. Did I like this? Yes. The pacing is kind of weird at points, but I enjoy reading it. It's a pretty good book. And would I read this again? Yes, this is actually like my third or fourth time reading this book at this point. So, yeah, I'm going to hold on to it for a while. All right, back to the video. Anyway, next book. I have decided to add all of the plays on this shelf, so the vase has gotten a lot bigger. Bigger, fuller. There we go. So if I pull a play, I've decided since they're shorter, I'm going to pull a second one and just have 2 books in one video. When Men Become Gods. Alrighty, this is up there. When Men Become Gods. Mormon polygamist Warren Jeffs, His Cult of Fear, and the Women Who Fought Back. Shout out to Thrift Books, as always. Hello again. Quick announcement about Thrift Books. I've put a link down in the description, and the first 5 people who click it will get 15% off their first Thrift Books purchase. If you spend more than $10, you get free shipping, but if you spend less than $10, shipping is like $2. They have so much stuff. I've gotten most of my textbooks over the past few years from Thrift Books, actually. So, I 100% recommend it. I love it. And yeah, bye! Yes, my love. No. Ready to? You want to give Goo a bath?